Missiles are also being fired in another part of the world. Let's zoom in to West Asia. The United Arab Emirates has intercepted a third Houthi missile. This time too, it was fired from Yemen. This is where the two countries are located on the map. For the last 3 weeks, a war in one of them has spilled to the other. Yemen has been at war since 2015. The Houthis have taken control of the capital, Sana'a, and a Saudi-led alliance is fighting them. The UAE withdrew most of its troops in 2019, but it continues to arm and train local militias who are fighting the Houthis. The UAE, of course, was part of the Saudi alliance. So the Houthis are now building pressure. They want the UAE out of the war. In the last 3 weeks, the Houthis have attacked the UAE thrice. They were successful once. The other 2 times, the missiles were intercepted. Today was one such occasion. And this is significant because a missile crisis in the UAE is unusual. The situation is desperate on both sides. Let's start with the Houthis. What they're firing is their longest-range missiles till date. The war in Yemen has become a stalemate. More than 100,000 people have died, and the Houthis have been cornered. In desperation, they're targeting what the UAE values the most, its stability. You see, stability is the UAE's USP. It is a safe, business-friendly country in an otherwise dangerous neighborhood. Over 3,200 foreign companies have offices in the Emirates. People from around the world travel to the UAE both for business and leisure. Expats make up 80% of the UAE's population. Dubai's airport is the world's 3rd busiest. It is safe transit for flights from around the world. Houthis are trying to puncture this bubble of stability and safety, trying to turn the UAE into a country of sporadic attacks. They targeted Abu Dhabi on the 17th of this month, 17th of January, when South Korean President Moon Jae-in was in the country. The Houthi drone missile hit an oil facility. 3 people were killed. All of them were expats, including Indians. Houthis are hitting the UAE where it hurts the most. They say they will target the headquarters of international companies. The UAE, on the other hand, is determined to not let a militant group hurt its image. Emirati officials have barred people from clicking or uploading photos related to the missile attacks. The information coming out of the country is being tightly controlled. Officials insist that flight operations have not been affected by the latest missile crisis. Everything, they say, is business as usual. The only media we have of the recent attack is this. The UAE says it destroyed the missile launcher within 30 minutes of the attack. The launcher was located in Yemen's Al Jawf province, some 1,300 kilometers from Abu Dhabi. Here's the twist to the tale. Today's attack was not about the war in Yemen alone. The missile was fired at a time when Israel's President Isaac Herzog was visiting the UAE. The attack was a protest against the changing geopolitics in West Asia. In August 2020, you would remember, the UAE signed the Abraham Accords. It normalized ties with Israel, and Israel officially became a part of the unofficial anti-Iran coalition of Arab states. In December 2021, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett visited the UAE. Now, the Israeli president is on a tour of the country. Just 1 day ago, he called on Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. They reportedly discussed business and security. Earlier today, the Israeli president visited the Dubai Expo. He took to the podium to tell the world that Israelis and Emiratis are standing together. The Houthis too sent out a message. Let me tell you what they said. The Emirates will remain an adversary as long as the actions of the Israeli enemy continue in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Loud protests came in from Iran too. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson said, and I'm quoting, "Invasion, expansionism and crisis making are part of the nature of Israel's policy." The Israeli president is continuing his tour despite the attack. Israel says it is ready to offer any security or intelligence support that the UAE may need. So here's how things stand. The Houthis are determined to build pressure. The UAE is determined to secure its image. And Israel is determined to expand ties with the Arab world. The sands in this part of the world are shifting rapidly. The UAE responded to previous Houthi attacks and is unlikely to break that pattern. But 3 missile attacks in 3 weeks make 2 things very clear. The war in Yemen has spilled and the UAE's safety net has been torn. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.